Hello again, everyone. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I call it Hope Fades because ever since the market peaked in a counter trend rally on June 8th, and I say the market because it's everything except the NASDAQ Composite, NASDAQ 100, where the tech stocks are doing a bubble type of activity. The Dow, the S&P 500, the New York Composite, the Russell 2000, nothing is pushed above that June 8th high. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I think part of the reason is it'll be 5 weeks on Monday since the June 8th high, and we haven't traded above it. Because the virus is now surging in the United States, and it's throughout the rest of the world, but especially in the United States, stronger than what it did even in March and April. So the hope that maybe we were going to have it under control by midsummer definitely is out the window. And the hope for a V-shaped recovery. The hope for a lot of things related to this coming out of the initial shutdown. So we'll see what happens. Earnings start this coming week, and the banks are going to kick it off. So we'll see if that starts to break down, starts the breakdown that we're looking for in here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to focus on the S&P 500 today. I'll look at the New York Composite briefly. I want to look at the DAX, the German index. Look at one of my key indicators, and then I'm going to take a look at Tesla. So let's start off here with the S&P 500. It was up 32.99 on Friday, so it continued to push in here. Let's see, Monday we popped up on the 6th after the 3-day weekend. But really, where did we close on Monday? We closed 3179.72. We're basically up 6 S&P points over the next 4 days. So we'll see how much more further we have to push. Let's take a look at the weekly chart here. It was up, let me get the exact number here, up 55.03 for the week. A pretty compressed price action in terms of the range. You can see this is one of the most compressed weeks, 71 points from high to low in several weeks, the most compressed in several weeks. All right, so let's take a look and drill down. I'm going to look at the 2-hour chart. Gosh, I've been getting a delay in that, and it's not data and it's not my internet, so I've got tech support looking at it. All right, so right now, here's my expectation. We're looking at a 2-hour chart, and the first move down, the minor wave 1, which bottomed on June 14th. Actually, it was June 15th, the morning of June 15th. And then we've rallied back in what looks like a big zigzag wave 2. And the expectation for this now is to come down in the third minor wave. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for on the S&P 500. The Thursday's low, opening low in here, the first 2 hours of the day, 3115.70. So 3115, I'm looking for that to break. That's the first kind of threshold that we're looking at. And then, of course, minor wave 1 low here, 2965 will be the next kind of threshold that we're looking at. All right, so that's the S&P. It's the same kind of picture here on the New York Composite. We've broken down out of this zigzag channel for wave 2. We broke down out of that on June 24th. It looks like we had a little pullback, kind of the kiss goodbye back to the underside of that trend line. And then we've pulled back away from it. Now, we haven't broken down, but look how much flatter this is in here. And I'm seeing that in a lot of different indices. When you look at the Russell 2000 and the same thing in many of the foreign indexes. When I look at Australia, look at Canada, and let's take a look at Germany right now. Now, the DAX isn't quite as flat in terms of the pullback. This is a little more similar to the United States, to the S&P 500 anyway. So it was up 144 points on Friday. Now remember, they close 10:30 Central Time in the morning, or 11:30 Eastern Time. So it's kind of late in the morning after a couple hours trading for our session on Friday. So we'll see what happens with this, and a lot of it, I think, in terms of how this ends up is how do we trade Sunday night going into Monday morning too. But this is the picture. I'm expecting this to come down out of this channel and break down similar to what we just saw on the New York Composite Index. All right, let's take a look at one of my key indicators. Okay, here's the percent of stocks above the 50-day moving average in the S&P 500. So you can see back here on March 25th, we had a low close on this indicator of 0.99. So what is that? That is 0.99%. Only 1% of the S&P 500 was above their 50-day moving average on March 25th. And of course, the bottom was what? March 23rd in here. Then we get all the way up here and we get this extreme readings. We're above 90%, and the actual high close was 97.82. It actually occurred on 2 days. It occurred right here on June 2nd and then on June 8th. Okay, right when we talked about the market peaking on June 8th with the counter trend trade. Okay, now we've pulled back down. So when you look at this chart, I've got a dotted line of 50%, kind of the midpoint. Not kind of, it is the midpoint. And then I've originally had the these bands in here between 20 and 30 for oversold and 70 and 80 for overbought. And of course, when we started pushing well above that, I added the 90 level just to get a visual benchmark in here as to what it was doing. Now we've rolled over. We're trending down to the downside. Same moving averages I use on my basic chart, you know, the 10 exponential moving average and the 21-day simple. We've crossed over, we're rolling down. So far, we've got lower highs and lower lows. We didn't quite take out that low here. This price action on Thursday got very close. We actually closed the previous week at 46.9%, so a little bit below. We're down here punching right at the 50% threshold. So all of a sudden, that changed pretty dramatically in just a matter of a few weeks. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Okay, here's all the data I've got on Tesla. And right now, I've got this labeled, and I think I've done a video on this. I can't remember exactly when. And so, you know, again, I don't need to get into all this history. The most important thing is what's going on right now. And I think what happened here is we have this cycle wave 2 that bottomed in mid-year last year. And we're at the bottom right around 200, very close to it. Let me zoom in a little bit. Again, this is a weekly chart. And we're right in here, 176 point, so we'll say 177, around that area. Okay, and since then, it's taken off like a rocket. So what am I doing with the chart here? Well, number one, I've got the long-term channeling going on. But once we get into looking at this third cycle wave, and let me get rid of a little bit of this noise. Let me zoom in a little bit. So now we're off and running here on the third cycle wave. So here's primary wave 1 and 2. Now I created a base channel out of here for 1 and 2. And so now we've broken out of this base channel, which is exactly what I expect. Where are we sitting? We're sitting at the long-term channel that we've talked about, the weekly channel. Okay, we're just sitting right here. Still on the weekly view. Let's take it to the daily view. So here's where we're at. We're right at the top here. We're breaking out of this channel, super strong. Volume is really picking up. RSI is very high. And so right now, my count is in this third primary, we are in the third intermediate wave of the third primary wave. I don't think we've topped out yet. Okay, it just looks like there's more to come. I mean, who knows how far this is really going to go. This is taking off like one of Musk's SpaceX rockets, honestly. Let's zoom back out of here. And what I've got in here, really, this is not meant to be a prediction. What I've done is I've looked at 3 versus 1. So right here, 3 would equal wave 1. Okay, and at a minimum, many times what you're looking for is the third wave to extend because it's usually the strongest. And 3 would equal 1 at 1,666. So where did we close on Friday? 1544. All right, so right now it's sure acting like there's more to come. And yeah, we'll get a pullback in a wave 4. We'll push up. We'll complete wave 3. Then we'll get an intermediate wave 4. We'll just go through the whole cycle, just like what we've done in the past. But right now, it is definitely in breakout mode. There's no doubt. And you know, the numbers are getting pretty big. You know, you get up here, of course, Amazon got over 3,000, but you know, the numbers are getting pretty big. There's nothing that says they can't, split the stock. I mean, they could split it 5-1, and then all of a sudden the numbers are a lot smaller. So we'll see what happens here over the next few weeks and as we get into earnings season. All right, everyone, that's it for this video. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it the thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little subscribe button. And if you'd like more of this kind of information on a daily basis, head on over to joehenches.net and check out the membership over there. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Be safe. We'll talk to you on the next